Let's go over the battle plan once more, shall we? In position and standing by. Ready to break camp on command. A soldier is born to fight. Survival is never free. We always have to pay. One must learn to wield violence, not for good nor malice, but for the sake of survival. To a quartermaster, proper armament is the first step toward victory. Remissness and negligence pose the deadliest threat on the battlefield. A valuable battle. My fighting spirit has been stirred. No badge or ceremony is needed. I fully appreciate the significance of this. Thank you for your trust, Administrator of Endfield Industries. If this happened at the Oathkeeper's fortress, I'd have to play the host at tonight's feast. Whether on the battlefield or elsewhere, this is an honor. Thank you for your trust, Administrator. I'll prove that this trust is well placed through my actions on the front lines. War remains a brutal affair on Talos 2. Numerous souls have marched into the north, fighting and falling so that the rest of this world may live. Endman, I have no doubt that your actions will put a solemn end to this cruel cycle of war and sacrifice. Pogranichnik, Rhodes Island operator and officer serving the Order of Steel Oath reporting for duty. The situation is urgent. I respectfully request a brief on your battle plan at your earliest convenience. Let's go over the battle plan once more, shall we? The slightest slip of mine decides who lives and who dies in battle. I've never tried this sort of work, but from a strategic perspective, it may be worth a try. Здравствуйте, Administrator. Here for another inspection tour. Приветствую, Administrator. Dejang is much larger than I expected, but I hardly spent any time familiarizing myself with its entire layout. That's thanks to ingenious and impeccable designs by its creator. It's a great starting point for a great dream, Endman, and I'm eager to see how the dream unfolds. The automated industry complex is far beyond what I imagined. With a protocol automation core, the suite of Terran military industrial machines will finally have a potent heart. One that sustains stable deliveries of essential resources to every imperiled corner of the planet. Endman, your work will save countless lives. On that, I give you my sincere promise. The Arsenal engineers of Endfield are truly impressive. They managed to complete weapon maintenance for every personnel despite the tight schedules. Such efficiency is rare, even on the Northern Front. Though I must admit, I didn't expect someone that young to be in charge of your arsenal. I've reviewed Instructor Lil Dodge's training program for you. The content is practical and the difficulty curve is well balanced. I don't intend to make any changes to it, though I added парочку простых испытаний based on my experience. But I trust that won't be a problem for you, Administrator. Before you were awakened, I hadn't taken part directly in Endfield operations for years. To me, whether I serve at Rhodes Island, Endfield, or the Order of Steel Oath makes no difference. I only want to protect what I believe is worth protecting. And this time, I shall advance and never retreat. Every time I look out over Talos 2, I feel a surge of inspiration. Massive swarms of abominations capable of engulfing the entire planet are forced into cauldrons in the auroral north. Mere soldiers of flesh and blood were the brick and mortar that held the enemy in check. This is one of the Oathkeeper's greatest military feats, an undeniable proof that we are worthy of the immense responsibility of preserving civilization. I stumbled upon this in the north. It might prove useful to you, Administrator. Thank you for your gift, Administrator. I take it as a commendation as well. And please accept this as my token of gratitude. After leaving Rhodes Island, I first visited the industrial mothership of the UWST. For some reason, I wanted to see what fruits a certain chapter of history had borne in this land. When I laid eyes on that indomitable city, I was deeply moved. If the children of Ursus can leave the past behind, start things anew, and achieve their own feats of honor and glory, then I, Korshun, have no reason to hesitate any longer. Military life with the Oath Keepers has taught me 3 lessons. First, trust your comrades. Second, never back down easily. Third, never push your luck. In the North, violating any of these principles could bring misfortune to you or your comrades. During my time with the Oath Keepers, I reorganized and trained the Shield Guards. The idea took shape on the night before I reached the Oath Keepers' Bastion complex. Massive structures rose in the shadow of the mountains. Sammy's Mirkwood stretched out in the darkness as if dark green flames creeping along the riverbanks. Countless tombstones stood in rows, forming a wall that held back the enemies from the north. The Oath Keepers is a shield protecting the civilization band, and I forged another shield for them. I believe these soldiers will never break. Halagor is more like a mentor and friend. I've come to understand his regrets and guilt, and I've learned from his thoughts and skills. There is no Halagor, the Ursan general here, only Korshun of Rhodes Island and Endfield. At times I feel grateful I have no past to weight me down. Other times I feel мучительное одиночество. If what I'm protecting turns out to be another empty ideal, then it's no different from the hollow glory of the Ursa's empire. Administrator, I hope that you'll be one to give me an answer. Andman, it is my solemn wish that your vision is fulfilled, that everyone at Rhodes Island can return to a life of peace and common joys, that the Oath Keepers can finally beat their swords to plowshares and enjoy the company of their loved ones, and that life can finally sink its roots deep into this ancient planet. I look forward to celebrating every victory with you and your friends. Even in the face of a devastating defeat, I pray that you will survive by any means necessary. If you do, then everything I've done will be worth it. The youth of Op-Team Z7 are truly impressive. They've only received basic military training, but managed to develop combat awareness on par with that of standard military combatants. Such achievement is rare and commendable. I worked all kinds of jobs in the north. Besides being a commander, I also doubled as a quartermaster and drill instructor. I forged weapons, milked new breeds of sea beasts, and even made grape wine. What is a soldier's honor? I'm afraid even I cannot give a definitive answer. But should you ever visit the Oath Keeper's fortress in the north, I urge you to visit our memorial. Every name engraved upon the monument once held an answer to that question. The Grand Treasurer manages a massive vault of legacies. They include not only relics of Oathkeeper legends, but also currently unrestorable Terra technologies and mysterious artifacts of the precursors. I was once given the chance to choose a relic to wield, but I refused. I had already drawn on the glory of a past legend. For the rest of my life, I will leave behind my own glorious legacy. Most of the time, Oathkeepers are fighting Angeloi, Anchors, and the disasters caused by Aetherside activities. But there have been extremely rare occasions where we faced inexplicable phenomena. Traces of giant creatures, witness reports of peculiar individuals. This is why I immediately requested to return to Endfield when I heard the Endmen had been awakened. The North is actually quite different from what most people imagine. After a century of development, the Oath Keepers' fortresses have become bustling hubs of commerce and entertainment. People became accustomed to constant war and have created a rather vibrant way of life. Outside the fortresses, the Semifield built settlements in Mirkwood to preserve their ancient knowledge and culture. Their caravans would often travel between the fortresses and the forest. Andman, you should pay the North a visit. It's a beautiful place, and I'll gladly accompany you if that is your wish. Industrial Mothership, the largest city of the UWST, now goes by many names and aliases. But I know her name was Simon when she was still in Terra. She sank in a lake under the tyrannical rule of the Ursus Empire. I still don't know why the Empire salvaged her afterwards, nor why they repurposed that ruined city into an exclave in a foreign world. Nevertheless, she is now the largest nomadic city on Talos II, and a spiritual symbol for many. When I first chose my shield guards, I saw a motley of trainees even younger than me. My first task was to strip away their aggression, for they are guards and not attackers. Next, I taught them every tactic I knew, so they not only defend but become the living front line itself. Finally, I made sure that they mastered survival. But in that regard, I've always felt that I haven't done enough. Sacrifice is never the objective. It is a last resort for the sole purpose of avoiding more sacrifices. I've heard stories about Miss Amber, a most remarkable warrior. Her assignment to the south wasn't just about rebuilding her squad. Her commander wanted to give her a chance to lead a normal life. I believe you have noticed this already, Andman. Sadly, she is unlikely to appreciate the meaning of this generosity. A soldier who could make peace with their past would never have gone so far as she has. Contrary to what people say, the Semifield are not xenophobes. It is true that for more than a century, they've been living under the lingering protection left behind by their All-Father. Yet they generously offer help to travelers who respect Sami traditions. The Cyclops once gifted Sami's teeth to the Seshkamem to power the floating bastion. The Snow Priests are also more than willing to share their arts with the Oathkeepers. It is clear that the Semifield have found their own way of embracing a new life on Talos II, while preserving their heritage. You might find that useful. Keep an eye on that area if you don't want to miss key supplies. Maintain formation, especially in uncharted territories. Stay alert. The enemy there is strong. This will shape up nicely. Perfect for both offense and defense. When we pool our strength, no task is beyond us. Strategic reserves like these can shift the tide of battle. Its strategic significance probably exceeds its operational value. Adverse variables are best taken out during the earliest phases of war. Every chance of recuperation counts. It might be your only chance to prepare for the next battle. Heading there, no rush. That was an oversight. All units incoming! This is far from desperate. This is no place for my war to end. A brilliant strategy. A textbook maneuver. You flatter me. We have proven the power of unity. War is never about mercy. Engage. Our battle plan proved its worth. It is worth a celebration. The results speak for themselves. Every victory bears its price. Hold dear what you've learned, but don't forget what we've paid. Don't let failure weight you down. Own it, and let it propel you to greater heights.
Move aside! Pathetic! Never tempt fate! Never fear!
At your command.
Never retreat!
They're mine to end.
Crescent moon! Полумесяц! Полнолуние! Покойся с миром! Your death awaits! At my command! Бойцы, в атаку! Shield guards, formation!